Let's look at these cat shots that utilize this BGM. They are created by creators all around the world and most of the shots have more than 1 million views. For example, this green one here has more than 60 million views. In today's video, I will teach you step by step how to use AI to quickly replicate this kind of cat shots. On top of showing how to execute it as a total beginner, I will also review the underlying logic behind these viral shots. After watching this video, you can also build a 1 million follower cat empire on platforms like YouTube, TikTok and Instagram. First of all, let's look at why all these videos could go viral. The major reason is that they tell stories about human scenarios in a cute cat format. For example, let's look at this sample channel here and its most popular videos. The top 3 videos that get millions of views are about a cat studying hard to get an A+, a cat falling down during a catwalk, and a cat being attacked by bees. If you go back to the initial page that I showed, by just looking at the thumbnails, we can see that most of these shots are talking about human scenario stories. These stories easily resonate with people, and when you replace the main character with a cat, it creates a strong contrast. Additionally, the cat's fluffy and chubby image is too cute to swipe away. Next, looking at the video structure, it's just multiple storyboard frames pieced together according to the plot with a catchy and repetitive meow 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 BGM. To create such videos, you need 2 key elements, a story and its respective storyboard frames. Once you understand this underlying principle, it's gonna be pretty easy to execute. So let's get started. Let's start with step 1, which is creating the full story. First, we go to ChatGPT. I will be using ChatGPT 4.0, which I found to be the simplest and most effective way to create viral content. It can handle everything from writing the story to producing high-quality storyboard frames. As mentioned before, we want to create a human scenarios-based story to get the most amount of views, so your initial storyline is one of the most important aspects of determining whether your video or shorts will go viral. Of course, if you wish, you can get ChatGPT to create a story from scratch as well, but I would say that you should come up with the original plot of the story and get ChatGPT to do further modification. Let's look at this prompt and story that took 5 minutes to think and write. Write a cute story about a chubby, fluffy orange cat named Milo who loses his hardworking father, Mr. Whiskers, which is also a cat who has dedicated his life to Milo's education. The story should include scenes of Mr. Whiskers working tirelessly to support Milo's studies, helping Milo with his homework, and tragically being involved in a fatal car accident. Despite the loss, Milo continues to work hard, visiting his father's grave for motivation, eventually graduating from university with honors and securing a good job. The story should be filled with realistic and anthropomorphic expressions, capturing the emotions and bond between father and son. And now, let me click on Submit here. As mentioned before, to make ChatGPT quickly and accurately produce a story and corresponding storyboard frames, our initial instructions need to be clear to reduce ineffective communication. Looking at the output of ChatGPT here, it does understand my ideas here and produce a full and vivid story here. Personally, I can't write such a detailed story in seconds, so ChatGPT has saved us a lot of our time. Definitely, if you wish, you can always further tune the story based on your preference. And now, let's proceed to step 2, which is creating the scenes. The step is pretty straightforward. We can just write a prompt like this. Convert the story into 7 scenes with a detailed description of each scene. And ChatGPT will split the main story into 7 major scenes. So, why 7? You can actually put any number of scenes you like. I'm just putting 7 since I think 7 scenes is a good balance to describe a story. So you can adjust a number based on what you prefer. Let's look at the output of ChatGPT. If you think that this output looks good, we can proceed to the next step. Else, you can always ask ChatGPT to further fine-tune the scene based on what you prefer. Looking at the result here, we start with scene 1, which is a warm home, and then the fish market, and then a snowy night, and then morning and determination, and then visiting the grave, graduation day, and then a successful future. Looking at the scenes generated by ChatGPT, I think it does fulfill my requirement. So let's just stick with the first output of ChatGPT here. Step 3, we'll be creating respective image of each scene. We will continue with our chat here with ChatGPT by writing create the first image of the first scene in square format, and let's look at the output. Now, let's look at the output of the first scene here. So look at this here, this gray cat here most probably is the sun here, and this orange cat here most probably is a dad here. Let's say you prefer the orange fluffy cat that we normally see in the viral shots. You can take a screenshot of the cat from a shot that you like and ask ChatGPT to do something like this. So let me just close this first, and let me just attach a sample cat picture that I took from my favorite shot here. So if I go to downloads here, if you look at this, I want my cat to look like this. So it's pretty simple here. I can just click on this here and just open here. And then I would just type follow this style instead, and then let me just click on enter here. So right now, ChatGPT will try to create the first scene of this story based on the sample picture that I attach here. If you look at the output now, the cat looks more cute now. We have this fluffy orange cat here, and then we have this gray cat here, which is the dad here. And here comes another question. How do we create a consistent look across your various scenes? Because if you look at some of the shots out there, the cat doesn't look the same throughout the scenes. So we want to make sure that the look is as consistent as possible. Of course, I would say that since we have two cats now, which is the dad and the son, it will be slightly more challenging to create a very consistent look. If you have just one cat, which is Milo, creating a consistent scene should be pretty easy if you follow my next step here. But we will still try our best to create a consistent image throughout our stories. So we can write a prompt like this. So let me just paste my prompt here. Give me the gen IDs of the most recent image, meaning that we will try to generate the generation ID of this image here. So let me just click on enter here. So this is the output of ChatGPT here. The gen ID of the most recent image is this number here. We can copy this number to somewhere else since we'll be using this number to regenerate the future scenes. And now let's look at the next prompt here. Let me just paste the next prompt here. Create the image of the second scene in the style of image. Let me just copy this and let me just paste it here. Meaning that this second scene will follow the style of the first scene here. Make sure Milo and Mr. Whiskers, which is the name of the dad here, appearance are consistent with image. Let me just paste this code here again. That's it. So this is the second prompt here. We will be generating the second scene based on the first scene and follow the style here. And let me just click on enter here to look at the output of the second scene here. So this is the image of the second scene here. If I look at this image, I think that it still looks familiar to me here. It looks not exactly the same, but it's similar here. So look at this here, this is the second scene here, and let's look at the original story here. So this is the scene 2 here, the fish market. I think this scene is all about the dads here, so actually we do not need Milo here. So let me just try to ask ChatGPT to regenerate the image here. So let me just say remove Milo from the scene since we just need his dad working hard in the scene. And let me just click on enter here and let's look at the output here. Okay, this scene is better since this scene only shows his dad here, which is working hard in a fish market here. So as I say, sometimes ChatGPT will not be able to generate the best image for you in their first attempt. But we can always ask ChatGPT to further fine-tune the result until we get the image that we prefer here. Since we are done with the second scene, and now let's create the third scene. The third scene is going to be very easy here. Let me just copy the prompt here. So if I go to here, just copy this prompt here, and let me just paste it here, and let me just type third scene here. That's it. So we can repeat this process until we finish creating the seventh scene here. So let me just click on this, enter here. Now let's look at the third scene here. Here's the third scene showing the snowy winter night and the tragic accident involving Mr. Whisker. If you need further adjustment or additional scenes, please let me know. If I look at this, I don't think this scene is showing the accident here. So I will have to further refine this scene here. So let me just type something like this. Please adjust this scene to show that Mr. Whisker is lying on the ground in front of a car bleeding to show that he is dying. It really depends on your requirement here. For my requirement here, I need to show that the dad is dying in the scene here. So let me just regenerate this scene here. Okay, if you look at this now, this gonna looks better now with this, the dad dying here, and then the son on the side here. So we can just copy this prompt here again, and let me just paste it here. Create the image of the fourth scene. Let me just change it to fourth here, and that's it. And then we will just keep repeating this process for the fifth, sixth, and seventh scene until we get the result that we prefer. And here you go, this is the output of the 7 scenes here. If you look at the process here, in between, I have to do some fine-tuning, some adjustments, some removal, some update to the image to make sure that it produces the image that I want here. So if I just scroll all the way to the top here, we have starting the first scene here. Where is the first scene? So this is the first scene, and then this is the second scene, and then this is the wrong one here. So we change to this third scene here, and then this fourth scene here with an extra cat here. So I have to remove the cat here. So this is just the updated fourth scene here, and then this is the fifth scene here. And then right now this is not really exactly what we want here. So we have to update it to become something like this here. And then we have an extra cat here. So I have to remove this cat here. So after removing the cat, it looks better here. And this is the sixth scene here. So this looks good here. And then this is the final scene here. And unfortunately, ChatGPT thinks that his dad is actually a human here. So I have to adjust this human as well, becoming this one here. So this is how you generate the 7 scenes here. And now let's download all these images to our local computer here and proceed to the next step. So if you look at my screen here, I have downloaded all the images to my local computer here, and I have also done the renaming here. So scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, scene 6, and scene 7. Step 4 will be downloading the audio. Before we start video editing, we need the viral BGM background. This is the YouTube video of the song, and if you scroll to the comment section, we can see that the creator of this video mentions that author sold rights and it's free, copyrights is not problem, thanks. So it should be fine for us to use this music in our shots. Of course, we can't guarantee that the new right holder will change his mind in the near future, so there is still some risk there. If you really want to mitigate the risk, you can use your own BGM or use music from YouTube Studio or use royalty-free music from platforms that you prefer. Let's just stick with this BGM for now, since this audio is the major component that makes all these shots go viral at the first place. We can just copy the YouTube link and go to a website like YouTube to MP3 and just convert this video to MP3. Then we will just download the MP3 into our local computer. And now, let's go to basic video editing. We will be using CapCut Online this time around. Just register a free account and you can either use the web version or the computer version. It doesn't really matter. So this is the CapCut homepage. And now let's just click on create video here. So create video here. And now, we will be uploading all the images and also audio that we just downloaded. So let me just click on upload here. So upload file here. And let me just click on all the scene here. So scene 1 all the way to scene 7, as well as the audio that we just downloaded from the YouTube music there. So let me just click on this here and let me just open here. So right now, we will be uploading all the scene as well as all the audio here. So first of all, let's drag the audio into the timeline here. So let me just drag this audio into the timeline here, making sure that it starts from 0 here. So let me just drag it to here. At the same time, let's say you want to create a vertical shot, make sure that the dimension is correct as well. So let's look at this here. This is 9:16, which is the vertical format for shots here. So it's good here. And next, we will be dragging the scene into the timeline now. So for example, let's drag this scene 1 here. Once we drag the image into the timeline here, the next question is how long each image should be. So this is pretty simple here. We can use bits detection based on the audio here. So let me just show you how. First of all, let me just click on this audio here. And let me just click on this button here. Bits detection here, see this here? Let me just turn this on here. What we're going to do here is that we will use this bits detection to find the bits point for this audio here. Then we will change the scene at every bits point. So let's look at this here. So let me just zoom in this a bit here. Look at this here, we have all the bits point here. So let me just drag this up a bit. And look at this here. For example, let's say for the first scene here, we will change the scene at this bits point here. So maybe this one here, the first one here. Here you go. Meaning that we will run this scene until this bits point here. Then we can attach the second scene here. For example, scene 2 here. And then we could just drag this scene 2 to this bits point here. Then we'll just keep repeating this process for the remaining scene here. So scene 3. Here you go. That's how we can make sure that we change the scene at every bits point. And let me just trim this audio here. So let me just trim all the way to the end here. And let me just zoom in here a bit. So that's it. So this is how you can change the scene based on the audio here. Looking at this, we are almost done with our viral cat shots. Now let's proceed to the final step, which is doing final touch up to the video. First of all, let's look at the background here. If I scroll all the way to the first scene here, if you click on this here, this picture here has a black background here. But if you look at the viral cat shots, normally the background will be blurred with this image here. So let's look at how we can do this in CapCut here. It's pretty simple here. Click on this image here, and let me just click on this background here, and then click on this button here, and let me just select the first option here. So look at this. If I select the first option, it's gonna be looking like this. But if you want, you can select the second option, the third option, or the fourth option. Let's just stick with the first option here. And that's it. If you want, you can make the picture bigger or smaller, it doesn't matter. Let's just stick with this square size for now. And then we can repeat this for the remaining scenes here. Here you go. If you look at all the scenes now, if you look at this here, scene 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we are getting closer to the format of the viral cat shots. And now let's look at what else we can add to this video here. First of all, we can add transition between each scene to make it even more interesting. It's pretty simple here. Let me just click on this button here, and then let me just zoom in here a bit. And then we could just click on this, where is transition? It's going to be this one here. And let me just select the trending one. What do we have here? Maybe I could just use, do we have a pull in here? Yeah, pull in is good here. So let me just drag this in between the scenes here, which is this one here. So if you look at this now, you can see that the scene is getting changed now. And let me just apply this scene change to every scene here. So this is how you could add transition between each scene here. And finally, let's click on this audio here, and if you want, we could just add some fade in and fade out here. So for example, fade in is fine, I think fade in is okay here. Let me just add for fade out here. So for fade out, maybe just select 2 seconds here. That's it. This is so that the audio will slowly go to a lower volume towards the end of the video here. And that's pretty much it. So we can do a quick preview of this video here. Everything looks good. And now we could just export this video here. So let me just click on export button here, download here, and then name, I could just say cat with that shorts, doesn't matter, it's just a name. Resolution, the highest here, high quality, 30 fps, format MP4, and let's just click on this export button here. And now let's look at the final prototype here. So I hope you enjoy the final product of our tutorial here. Definitely, this is just a basic prototype. You could always add more scenes or make the scene longer, change the music, add more sound effect, or add more transition. It really depends on you and also who your target audience is. And before we end, I also want to show you that you should realize by now, once you do this for the first time, you could just keep replicating the process without much effort. If you look back at the original timeline here, we could change this whole video to another story easily. I could just click on, let's say, the first scene here, and let me just right click here, replace, and let me just change to this scene here, this sample cat here, and let me just open here. And that's it. So this is how you could change this whole video to another story easily. Using this strategy, you can definitely create at least 1 shot per day and upload to YouTube every day. And lastly, if you enjoyed the video or have learned something new from this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified of new content. If you are interested in hearing more stories from me, feel free to check out my newsletter whereby I share things that inspire me. The link is in the description or the comment section below. I'm Chen Ming and I'm here to help you to use AI to improve your life.